Hi everyone, my name's Pauline. Welcome to my Craft and Create Girl channel. Another wee different video today. I thought I would give some people who were interested a tour of my new aquarium. If you look back a couple of videos ago, you'll see that I had a Fluval Flex 57 litre tank, and it was a great wee tank, really easy to keep clean, but it was a wee bit on the small side, so I downgraded from my Fluval 125 litre because it was really big and I was getting new flooring put in my living room where it was. And it's not the kind of tank you can just quickly move about. So I took that opportunity to downgrade, and I downgraded to the Fluval Flex, which, as I say, was a great tank, but yeah, a bit too small, and some disadvantages as well with that Perspex plastic back, which I found over time degrades quite a bit. It's quite difficult to make it look clean, and I had a lot of light reflecting off the back of it because I had the white version. So, but otherwise, yeah, it was an okay tank. So I've been looking long and hard for something that was slightly bigger, not too big, and it would also fit in this new space, which is a space in my hall. So I bought this second hand. It wasn't new. I tend to buy a lot of my tanks second hand because it's much cheaper, and most people are hobbyists and the tanks are always in really good condition, you know, and they're either upgrading, downgrading, and they're just looking for more space. So I got the tank itself and that cabinet that it's standing on, and that was 50 quid second hand. So it's fantastic. But I'm particular, you know, there's lots of offers out there. I got this on Facebook Marketplace. You can try eBay, but I find Facebook Marketplace quite a good one for second-hand stuff like this. Yeah, but I did wait, and I waited till I saw one that I really wanted, because as I say, there's lots of different options out there. So finally this one came up, and the reason that I like it is because I knew that it would fit in the size, so I already knew the space that I had available, and I knew that this one would fit. I knew it would also fit on a table that I already had in case I didn't want to use the cabinet, but I've decided just to keep the cabinet. And also I do like the filtration system in this tank. So I'm going to give you a wee closer look at that, and you know, I'll just give you a wee quick overview of the tank itself and the features. So here we go. So the tank itself, you can see my fish in here. I have a population of barbs. I do like barbs. There's so many different varieties. They're quite a fast moving fish. And so I've got a community of a few different breeds. I've got rosy barbs in here. I've got some panda barbs, or they're sometimes called melon barbs. And I've got some red cherry barbs. This big guy at the back is actually a cichlid breed. They're called a flag cichlid, or their proper name is festivum. He's quite a large, mature adult, but they're not aggressive cichlids. He's very peaceful. He doesn't bother the other fish. And that was, you know, one of the reasons that I really needed a bigger tank as well, because he's quite a big mature fish. So this tank itself holds 90 litres. I don't know what that is in US gallons, I'm afraid. And yeah, it's set up for a freshwater aquarium. On the front here, this is just a new tiny little addition. It's a small breeder box which is run through an air pump. It's called a Fluval breeder box, but you know, there's lots of different breeder boxes that you can get. I chose this one because it sits on the outside, so you can see that hanging on the outside. I don't know if you'll be able to see the pump. I'll go around the other side. So round here, so here you can see this small inlet tube for that wee breeder tank, and it just runs off an air line. So an air line comes up here and drips water into that, and then there's a wee outlet here where the water runs back into the tank. And so this kind of setup is ideal if you're trying to breed fish or isolate sick fish, because it has a constant flow of water from your main tank. So at the moment, this is just a very temporary house, as you can imagine. I have a breeding pair of green tiger barbs, and I'm hoping that she will lay some eggs. I've never really bred any fish before, so I'm not sure. She certainly looks like she's got eggs. She has quite a wide tummy, but yeah, she obviously doesn't like the camera. So if anybody has a lot of experience breeding fish, or especially egg layers, let me know any of your experience in the comments, please. How long should I wait? I don't obviously want to keep them in there very long, and obviously the eggs are going to be very hard to see, but they should sink down to the bottom here, and there's a wee separator grate. But obviously I don't want to keep them in there very long, so let me know in the comments anybody's thoughts on, you know, whether or not she will drop her eggs and how long I should keep them in there. So back to the main tank itself. As I said, it came with the cupboard. There's no shelves in the cupboard. I've got all my fish stuff in there for changing the water. This lid is normally closed. It's normally closed snug, obviously, but at the moment it's slightly ajar because I've got the breeder box here. But the main reason I bought this tank is for the filter area, which I'll now show you. I'll just take that. I'll just try and move the thermometer that I've got. I've got a digital thermometer. I'll lift the lid up. Here we go. So this is the main feature of this tank. This tank is an Aqua One AquaStyle 620. It's not a 620T. The 620T is the exact same tank, but it's a taller version. So it's not as wide, but it's taller. Whereas this is the wider version. So, but they're both essentially the same tank with the same kind of system. So these AquaStyle systems, there's a couple of different options. There's a 380, I think it's called, a 620, and I think it goes up to a 980, I think, which is obviously a much bigger tank. But yeah, the main reason I got this tank was for the filtration system. This is a trickle filter that is built into the hood, so it's all hidden away. As you can see, there's an uplet pipe here. I can show you that later in the tank. That just trickles from that spray bar onto some sponges. Aqua One do provide, so there's like 2 plastic boxes and cartridge filters which have fine floss and carbon in them. You don't need carbon in your system unless you're medicating your fish and then trying to remove those toxins from the water. Carbon is not something that you need in an ordinary, everyday, biological full cycle. This tank, although I bought this tank second hand, I have a lot of mature biological media in this tank, so it was pretty much cycled. So I've got a mixture in here of Sea Chem Matrix and also BioHome gravel, and as I said, some of that was mature from my other tank. I also seeded my gravel from my old tank into this one as well. So yeah, that trickle filter just trickles onto the sponge. This is a medium foam. Again, I bought that. I bought the sponge and the BioHome gravel from a UK supplier, and if I remember, I'll put the link to his online store. The Pond Guru have a lot of videos on filtration systems and how to upgrade your filters from ShopBot, so it's a fantastic YouTube channel for aquarium stuff and aquarium knowledge. And yeah, so I bought some stuff from him, primarily the gravel, because it means I can get a lot more filtered biological media in here. So that just basically runs down onto that sponge. It runs through this chamber here as well, which, as I said, is just more biological media, and then it runs into this outlet area here, which has an overflow to stop the tank overflowing, the filter overflowing in case it gets stuck, and it also has a little outlet pipe that goes into the tank, which is called a duckbill. I'll show you what they look like inside the tank, and as you can see, that lid just sits all nice and snug on the tank itself. You can't see anything. It's super quiet, apart from the wee overflow. So you'll see here's the duckbill filtration outlet, and you can see that the overflow does have some water overflowing out of it into the tank. Sometimes that can make a bit of noise, but yeah, that's the view there of the duckbill. So you see you've got quite a good water flow there, and the inlet pipe, which is driven by a power head filter, and that's just over there in the rear, where you can see that next to the heater at the back. So all in, a really neat, tidy system. I really like it, and so far, filtration wise, no problems whatsoever. So yeah, the Aqua One AquaStyle 620. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour of the new aquarium. Please do comment down below on any tips at all about breeding the barbs, or even if you don't have barbs but you do have a lot of experience breeding egg layers. These are egg scatterers, and as I say, I don't want to keep them in there for any great length of time. She does look like she's got eggs, so please hit me up with lots of advice in the comments. I'd really appreciate it, and definitely thoroughly recommend these tanks. They obviously don't make that model anymore. It's an older model. The newer models are called Aqua View, but you can probably still buy that model on Amazon and stuff like that. But as I said, I usually always buy second hand because it's a lot cheaper. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.